day, everyone, and welcome to Obidient Family TV. The program is Hope Alive. Yes, there is hope, and a new Nigeria is possible. Now, good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending on your time zone. Today, we've come again to discuss on things happening in Nigeria. And other things also outside of Nigeria, but most especially the things that are happening in Nigeria that shouldn't be happening. Just a few hours ago, a senior customs officer died at the National Assembly while quizzed by the Committee on Public Accounts. That has been happening severally. People will go to National Assembly, either come out in stretchers or they will come out in ambulance, as the case might be. But it's unfortunate that today one of the custom officers was unable to take it as his heart gave up at the National Assembly while answering questions on what is happening on public accounts. And the House of Representatives announced the death of this senior officer of the Nigerian Customs Service during an engagement with this House committee at the National Assembly. Confirming this incident, the House spokesman, Akin Rotimi, says the customs officer suddenly developed health complications during the House committee engagement in about 2 p.m. today. He said, despite the immediate and diligent effort of first responders and medical personnel at the National Assembly Clinic, the customs officer unfortunately passed away. Out of respect for the family, the House spokesman says the officer's name will not be disclosed. Well, we will be disclosing the officer's name today, and that officer's name will be bringing across to you, because it is not something, it is a pity that such a thing has to happen, but at the same time, there is no need of hiding somebody's name. And that's why I will be bringing that up later. Then we'll also be bringing to your attention that His Excellency P2B visited the Labour Party office and advocates for peace among the crises in the party, and has called for the two parties who are, whether the Julius Abure-Red people or the Lamidia Papas people, and is willing to work with the National Working Committee of the Labour Party on reconciliation of the concerned aggrieved at that very level. And again, we are going to bring you the lawmakers who are seriously concerned and lamenting at the floor of the House of the Representatives about over 200 million Nigerians who are suffering to feed their families. That will be bringing you the videos and who these speakers are. And with me to have this discussion at this segment is in the house Divine Dawns and Peace, the Peaceful Peace.
Very warm welcome, and thank you for joining us once again on today's live broadcast. Let us have these conversations.
Well, good evening, Obidient to worldwide. Now welcome, sit down, relax, and let's get this conversation started.
Okay, let's get this very thing started. And what is we will say disheartening. No, disheartening is the loss of life, because we sympathize with not just the family, but the people at the National Assembly, because they were there, and of course they had to shut down because they have lost somebody. But again, it calls into question about the custom officers. A while ago, we have been reporting about continued investigative report coming out from Fisayo, that is the investigative journalist, who has stipulated that averagely Nigerian Customs Service are the ones supplying arms to the bandits and the kidnappers in Nigeria. And it shows several things, and that most of them also deal with smugglers. So I don't want to relate it with what happened today at NASS due to the bereaved family, but at the same time, we won't fail to get away from that, because seriously, thousands or hundreds of people die every month in Nigeria because guns that were not supposed to be in possession of bandits or kidnappers ends up being in their arms. And there is no way we manufacture these things in this country other than it's coming through our borders. So let's get that very conversation on. So Divine, let's first analyze this very meeting that this man went to. Of course, is to give accountability to what is happening in customs. And it has been a trend that whenever people are called to give accounts in a National Assembly, is either they get convulsion at the National Assembly, some of them think heart attack. But it's really unfortunate today that somebody was lost from customs service.
Well, you know, condolences to the family of the bereaved, first of all, because, you know, death is something that is very painful, and we understand that this family has probably lost their breadwinner, their brother, and all of that, right? But yes, once again, condolences to the bereaved family. But I'm going to just, you know, take it from the angle of the Nigerian Customs Service and the fact that they've not been doing what it is that, you know, they've been put in that office to do. When we raised the issue of smuggling just last 2 months, this was March, right, when Fisa Shoyombo came out to talk about the smuggling operations of, you know, top, you know, custom officials, and the fact that a lot of them allow smugglers get away with these things just so they can collect bribe. We had different conversations about bribes, different levels and rates of bribe, which top custom officials had collected, right? And so now that we're talking about it, and in the spirit of this accountability, I'm of the opinion that we actually allow more accountability to be done, right? And more like publicize these hearings. Let's hear exactly what these people are telling Nigerians as to the reason why smuggling is the order of the day in our borders. These are the people we trusted with, you know, the authority to control everything going on in all our borders, especially when it has to do with the land, right? So it is particularly important that we actually shine a lot of light and on the activities of these custom officials, right? So once again, you know, condolences to the family of the bereaved, but we also need to make sure that our custom service is purged of every form of corruption, and also pray that, you know, those people don't actually, involve themselves in smuggling activities that will put Nigerians at risk. Because I mean, they keep allowing smugglers get away with things like smuggling in, you know, arms, and that's the reason why banditry keeps thriving, because the arms that's fueling this banditry, our custom officials allow it to go on because they are trying to actually make money for themselves through illegal means.
Yes, of course, we noticed that all of those. Then let's get another thing straight. I was sent reliably information coming in that the officer who is actually the one in question who died today at the National Assembly is Essien Etop Andrew. Is the Deputy Controller of Finance Administration and Technical Service at Nigerian Customs Service. They said that Andrew coughed while answering members of the House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts today and slumped to his death. That is the report that is just coming in from the Foundation for Investigative Journalism. And that's what I just read. So it means that we have mentioned the name of the person as reported by the foundation, Essien Etop Andrew. Okay, let me quickly come to you, peaceful peace. You know, say as we talk we they bring them to down to the grassroots, make them for understand us well. Make we leave the Vandons and the grammar, not you leave it. So, our people they always want me to hear from you. People will be say, then they allow smugglers to carry gun enter. We be say it they make even our farmers no fit go farm. One. Number two, then they use the same gun where they smuggle inside, they kidnap, they ask for ransom. And then the other one be saying then they use that same gun, they kill the people even after them pay ransom. You think say such people then we supposed to get mercy for them. Notwithstanding say we dey sorry for person where don't die. But I dey talk as custom officers are concerned, the corrupt ones, because you go still find the ones where be say then they okay for that place.
Thank you, Mr. Kanu. We not supposed they sorry for them, just like you rightly stated. You know, biblically, the Bible says something, say, whatever a man sows, now you go reap. Now, people, they always say, now so they talk, and when it calls for accountability, say, may they can't tell us about public funds, about how they do everything. You go see one of them, they go fake them. One go say, they don't slumber, hey, he faint, oh. But this one now, just small cough, in cough. From there, the baba don't go. Well, waiting me, I go talk, we say, what goes around comes around. You get. So actually I really felt for him. I felt for his family, and I'm so sorry for his loss. But what is worth doing is worth doing well. All these things wey just they happen, they go on. It can't be like say, like say people know they see them, or it can't be like say person no know wetin they do, or maybe the masses, all of them, they no get sense, or maybe they no know wetin they solve for this country. So I feel like the government are playing on our intelligence, and they should do well. They should actually act right, because when it comes to the issue of accountability, you just imagine this one now can't just go like that. Well, anyways, I'm not sure, because all of these things now where they happen, they go bring in all those things, and yet you go they hear of killings here and there, you go they hear of this, so many bad things every day. You can't be like this, not the kind of Nigeria where we pray for. For how long we will can't they talk about all these things? I think we can't just keep doing the same thing and expect results. Like, a lot has been done, a lot of damages, many things just they happen, many things. May God just help us.
Yeah. May God help us and help them will be custom officers. If you be custom officer and you they watch out now, make you they do better thing. Make you not come by this person will be say just by not be say with the talk saying a bad person in B, or with the talk saying I be the person where they allow guns to enter, but with the talk in general, the people will be say then they collect, then they organize with smugglers, they bring things will be say if they kill the innocent poor people will be say then they go for farm for Niger. Now that one now with the talk. So with they sorry for the people who lose their pikin, and the family will be say they lose their papa. And all that, we dey sorry for all that one. But those corrupt custom officers who we don't they talk for sins, where we don't list all the properties where we say they get, even the smugglers where then they help, they do. We don't list them and we don't put their name. And they come out from this investigative journalist where we Fisayo Soyumbo. If una know una self, waiting go happen to una go pass disgrace. Now be that one. But if you get your comment, may you go comment section, may you go tell us how you feel. Now that one now we get. But make we quickly leave that very one. As we know say that one they happen, just say make we bring and come out. Make we enter another one will be say they happen. Una not know say this names where then they talk about say Nigeria there for trouble. Sake of say then they buy name sleep 100 naira for Niger. Anyway, make I talk am the way one I go take understand them small. Benga says and will be the executive director of Paradigm Initiative, revealed that his organization bought Minister Bosun Tijani's national identification number, NIN slip, for just 100 naira. Sesan said this whilst explaining a data breach and privacy concerns with Nigerian vulnerable identification database that happened at News Central TV. I will be bringing you that video while he talked that on News Central TV. Credits to them. He said that NIMS's statement published on Saturday suggests that it is Nigeria who are giving their data to these fake websites. But this is NIMS's data. And we now have proof. We got the name slip of the minister, Dr. Bosun Tijani. We got the name slip of the #1 data regulator in Nigeria, Dr. Vincent Olatunji. That is what he said. He said, we bought them for 100 naira each to demonstrate that this is not a joke. It basically means that your identity is for sale for 100 naira. The real implication is that anything we can do with a name slip, we can get a SIM card with that. Who knows if anyone has the president's SIM card right now, or the national security advisor, a military general leading a warfare in a place where they are dealing with terrorists. That is the questions he's bringing up. What if a terrorist bought the general's name slip, got his SIM card, and sent a message to the troops and said, meet me here at 700 hours, 14 degrees up north, just to ambush them? The implications are serious. It means that anybody can claim to be you. They can get your SIM card and do it. Let's take a listen to that very video while we come back. We no go tell. We no go tell.
Conversations that we need to have. Now we're talking about something else that's quite interesting. Paradigm Initiative has exposed unauthorized websites selling sensitive personal and financial data of Nigerian citizens for as little as 100 naira. This serious breach of privacy and data protection laws pose substantial risks to individuals and the national economy.
Now, on the 16th of March 2024, an investigative report by FIJ.ng revealed that expressverify.com.ng was selling personal data of Nigerian citizens. Despite the swift takedown of the site, Paradigm Initiative seeks legal redress on behalf of Nigerian citizens. Now, in its response to this revelation, the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, has denied the allegations of a data breach. This morning, we're joined by the Executive Director of Paradigm Initiative, Benga Chesson. Good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I mean, we probably would, start with the response by the NIMC, so at least we have some clarity on what we're talking about here.
Yes.
They have put out a statement. They said that there was no data breach, and of course steps are being taken to also put things in order. So let's get your response first of all for that.
I mean, what did you expect? It's not just that there's a data breach, it's that there is another data breach. So Express Verify was the one that, they talked about in March. And we did report it, thanks to FIJ, it was revealed. We reported this to the Data Protection Commission. And, well, I'm not surprised that NIMC got a slap on the wrist. And that, of course, means that they were, willing to look away again. And this is now, Express Verify went offline. And now this is anyverify.com.ng. And guess what? That's not the only one. AnyVerify is now offline again because there's noise about it. But there are many more. In fact, in that press statement, NIMC itself tied its own hands by saying, we know there are many websites. And the problem is not Nigerian citizens. That press statement is silly, at least, because it suggests that it is Nigerians who are giving their own data to this false or fake websites. But no, this is NIMC's data, and we now have proof. We got the name slip of the minister, Dr. Bosun Tijani. We got the name slip of the #1 data regulator in Nigeria, Dr. Vincent Olatunji. We bought them for 100 naira each to demonstrate that this is not a joke.
Wow, this is wild. Give us a picture of the impact of what this means. What does this mean? Because people are hearing, some people are hearing data breach, that their data is being sold for as low as 100 naira. They don't understand. Every day we're making transactions online, but they don't see what the implication of this could mean. It
basically means that your identity is for sale for 100 naira. It's annoying that it's that cheap, but the real implication is that anything that you can do with a name slip, don't forget, with a name slip you can get a SIM card. I can become you on your phone. And I worry about some of the implications. Who knows who has a president's SIM card right now if he has a name slip? The National Security Advisor. A military general who is leading warfare in a place where they're dealing with terrorists. What if a terrorist bought that name slip, got a SIM card in the general's name, and sends a message to the troops and say, meet me 0700, 14 degrees north, just to ambush them? The implications are serious. It means that anybody can claim to be you. They can get your SIM card. And you know, one of the problems that we found is that when we saw this name slip, the home address was listed there. Not just the name, the home address. So basically, if I want to kidnap you, thankfully, I don't have any interest in that. I pay for your name slip. I see your home address. If you're not there, I pick someone else, and I have that name slip. So I create, you know, I get a SIM card in your name and send a text message. Who are you going to be looking for? You're going to be looking for yourself.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, let's understand clearly here. What you're saying is that you found out that the NIMC's website itself has been breached.
It's not even the website. I mean, to be honest, I don't care much about the NIMC website. But the national database, your data, my data, biometric information, home address, personally identifiable information.
And NIMC is the one we have to hold responsible for.
Oh,
that.
absolutely. Well, two people, NIMC and also the data regulator. The data regulator is the Nigeria Data Protection Commission.
That is the news of the Nigerians' personal data on NIMC allegedly sold for 100 naira. Not really allegedly, because we see the person who is saying they actually bought it for 100 naira. Let's take this very quickly, Divine. Let's even look at it from the perspective of identity management. I think they have failed woefully on this if what they are bringing to the table is correct. And these people went a deeper trying to get the minister's information and bought it for 100 naira to show that the database of Nigerians has really compromised. And this is going to affect, that's why we see so much fraud going around and we seem not to understand where it's coming from. And there are a lot of insecurity going on in the country and we seem not aware of that. I think they are bringing several things to the table on what is happening right now in Nigeria as far as data management is concerned.
Well, one of the very important things that, you know, these kind of agencies are charged with is making sure that the data of people, you know, that are uploaded on their sites is very private, right? And so it's particularly sad that this national agency that gets, you know, billions of allocations to them to make a safe website, just a simple website where Nigerians can trust that their personal data is safe, is something that they are unable to come up with, right? And it's particularly ironic because the ministers whose NIN they bought is actually the Minister of Communications, right? And so they took the Minister of Communications NIN just to prove to them that this is actually true, because the NIMC came out to denounce it and say, oh, there's nothing like that. And, you know, in their normal propaganda, trying to tell Nigerians that there's no cause for alarm. And that is why it is really, you know, important. Kudos to, you know, the Paradigm Initiative, because it was necessary for them to tell Nigerians, with your NIN, you can get a person's BVN, because your NIN is linked to your SIM card. That's where you get your credit alerts, you get a debit alerts. Basically, anybody can do anything with your NIN, aside, you know, identity theft. So this is something very serious, and it's just sad that we're having these conversations here and people are not getting fired, because why are you having, you know, people's data being sold for as cheap as 100 naira? People are in school, right? And imagine somebody just coming out one day, taking anybody's NIM that you bought cheaply on one website and then doing whatever you want with it. Like he said, Nigeria is a country that is battling banditry. Anybody can just buy anybody. I can decide to buy
use it and get a SIM card that is not even being sold.
I could think of anybody I'm trying to impersonate, probably just, you know, buy the person's NIN and do whatever with it, rob people, you know, with using the person's name, right? Scam them. I could decide to say, oh, okay, let me just, and it's just particularly sad. I mean, like the man said, thank God I have no such intentions, but this is not something funny. It's something that I'm particularly concerned about. And
something that Nigerians need to really talk about. And of course, that is one of the things that we feel at this very hour we need to bring to Nigeria. But our time is really very, very short today. We are going to move forward to His Excellency P2B's visit to Labour Party and advocating for peace and reconciliation among the National Working Committee of the party. Before we get to that very discussion, let's hear His Excellency P2B while he talk about him initiating the process to have that very meeting. Let's take a listen to His Excellency P2B.
This is of the National Secretary of the Labour Party. What is your view of this? How do you see it?
Well, I wasn't opportune to actually see the melodrama, but I think it's a welcome development, and it actually happened while I was here. Because whenever the reason why we're here today is part of our building one family for the party. So if on the day you start your reconciliation meetings and everything, and somebody who is agitating says no, that is a very good development. And it is good that we're also part of it.
So who are those who form part of the stakeholder for today's meeting? Where was Labour part of it? The NLC?
No.
Okay. Who were those here today for the meeting?
The people who were in the party office. I initiated it, not them.
Okay.
They were not part of it. I told them I want to meet with you people. And the other group too has spoken to their leader today and said I want to meet you.
Today? The same today? Or?
If they want today, I even told them actually to wait and meet them here, but they said they will meet me somewhere else. So I'll give them an appointment and I'll meet them. And I'm sure they will invite you, and I'll tell them to invite you, so you will know.
Well, auntie, your car was damaged in the process of this protest. Is it true?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Or you're just being political?
No, I can show you my car. I can actually say them. I won't use the word, but they can't even damage my car.
What's that? The conference called the national chairman. What's your position?
Who? That what?
National chairman.
Well, when we...
This to bring to your attention on the speculation that His Excellency Peter Obi is involved with the Lamidia Papa and the Julius Abures merger. And but Peter Obi has come out to say he has called for a meeting, to have reconciliation on the National Working Committee of the Labour Party, and that is what is happening. So we heard that from him. So that part has to be held to rest, that he went there on his own initiative to make sure that the reconciliation arms of the party, that both sides are having a collective discussion that's moving the party forward. Then away from that, let's also look at some of the issues we discussed earlier today, which has to do with the minimum wage that is still trending. We know that an executive meeting was held at the Aso Rock Villa concerning the minimum wage. According to reports coming out from the Aso Rock Villa, that Chief Tinubu and his people sat down to have a discussion, and that very discussion is going to be translated or transmitted to the National Assembly, where they will now work on the minimum national wage. But we see that there are some concerned lawmakers who are actually voicing their concern over the minimum wage saga, and they believe that they need to speedily move that issue out of the way, that Chief Bola Tinubu should transmit and let them work on it and give Nigerians not just a minimum wage, but a wage befitting for them. They spoke so much about the suffering of Nigerians unable to feed their families. But let me not use their mouth to say what they said. Let me just give you the video on how they said it at the floor of the House of Representatives. Let's take a listen.
Stand personally with the opinion of the trade union, but why will you go to media and say a salary of political office holders, National Assembly of that matter? I don't receive the money that they publish in the front pages of newspaper in the name of advocating for your standard living condition. Don't give wrong and lie information about institutions. It's done inside the public against. We are concerned about the trade union, but Mr. Speaker, we should be more concerned about the over 2 million Nigerian population who are suffering, 200 million who are suffering, who doesn't have food to eat, who cannot buy kerosene, who cannot pay school fees for their children, who doesn't have shelter to stay at home. We should remember, we must be proactive, hold that bill, adjust it, call for public hearing, stakeholders should consider that bill. If we have done our job, federal government will not be doing what they are doing now. But the prices of commodities in market, the standard living condition of the people is sympathetic. So it is very terrible. And here we are, fighting for trade union living condition. I agree, They constitute 13% of the population of this country. But go to equity with clean hands. Do not, in doing that, suffocate sectors like hospitals, where if it is not run, Nigerians will lose their lives. The primary responsibility of government is protecting the life and properties of its people. If the action of trade union, which is legitimate, negate those essential services, I don't think they will be doing fair to the people of this country.
Madaki stopped. I will also want to say that if you read section 16, which he has espoused properly in conjunction with section 14, which is one of the most quoted sections of the Constitution in this House, which provides for security of the citizens and their welfare being the primary purpose of government. As usual, again, I will postulate, can we say that as a government, we have succeeded in carrying out that primary purpose of government? Have we provided security for Nigerians? Have we taken care of the welfare of Nigerians? The answer to the two questions is no. We have severally talked about security, including today. In fact, it's as if one Nigerian life today equals to 1 minute silence. Now we're coming to the issue of welfare. And for several years, Nigerian workers have been complaining and crying concerning the issue of salary. Who earns 50,000 in this country and you think that a person can truly depend on a salary? Let's not deceive ourselves. It is not possible. How much is house rent? How much is your transport fare to your office and back home? And so we expect a Nigerian worker to earn as low as that and continue to serve this country. Let us stop playing the ostrich. Let's be realistic. Let's carry out our role to provide for the welfare of the citizens of this country by providing living wage for the Nigerian worker. It's really unfortunate when you hear a government talking about minimum wage and shying away from living wage. This House has resolved in the past that there is urgent need for living wage to be considered for Nigerian workers. However, having said so clearly, I will join the mover of the motion to commend the Nigerian workers for shelving the strike in the interim and allowing an opportunity for discussions and reconciliations of these issues. Although we commend them for doing that, I will also use this opportunity to also say that sometimes when we embark on some of these actions, we should not overstep boundaries. The area of switching off power in the entire country as a way of protest should be condemned. It is not proper. It is not opposite. Who are you protecting? People are in the clinic. Some persons, their lives depended on power at that moment, and you switch off the national grid. That was going too far. Whilst you have a good cause, whilst you're on track, you also need to adopt a proper process and procedure in pursuing that cause. So I will urge this House to please, with the speed with which we pass the national anthem, that we should also recall the Minimum Wage Act, reconsider it, and with that same speed, pass that act and ensure that we give the Nigerian worker a living wage in that act. That is the only way we can show solidarity with the Nigerian workers.
That is the National Assembly from the Green Chambers who said that we should be concerned about over 200 million Nigerians who are suffering to feed their families. And that brings us going into the segments of Operation Feed the Nation, and from production from consumption to production. So we'll be going into production. That's what we have been advocating for by supporting and advocating for Obidient family cooperative societies to be properly registered across the federation in their various local governments, so that we can start looking at the suffering of the people who should be cultivating at this very farming season. And that brings this very segment of the people who are going to be having discussions with me on Zoom. I have several Obedients and well-meaning Nigerians on Zoom who are going to join us on this very discussion. So let me start with our regulars, which is Lord K. Lord K, we have seen, aside from different things that we have had the discussion, the privilege of discussing with our audience today. But at this very segment, I want us to look at the point where these lawmakers seem to be concerned that over 200 million Nigerians are suffering to feed their families. And now we are now talking about the Obidient Family Cooperative Society, how we could be able to see how we could channel support for the farmers who are within different communities, especially what we have been seeing on ground happening in Cross River State, Yala local government, where we have over 4,000 members of the association who are craving to be supported so that they can go to their farms to do more farming. Please join this very discussion at this very hour to tell us what you feel about these whole things.
Thank you very much. Obedience around the world, studio members, and fellow Nigerians. Firstly, I want to say it's a cry too late. It's a cry too late that this member of Senate is actually coming out to say do crocodile tears, in the sense that this is somebody that is actually living in the country there that sees and knows pain of his people. Whichever community he has come from, they actually, or I mean, if it is done federally, they have voted for him to go and represent them. Regardless of whatever has happened, the Labour Committee, or whatever happened when the Labour actually went on strike, he has an idea. He knows why all this are happening. But so as to divert attention from him, so that they'll say, oh, he has said it in Senate. Oh, he's on our side. That's all he's doing there. Shutting down the grid by NEPA or whatever they call them now. I mean, that was something they did so that there will be a big message. There will be a striking message that, look, the workers, people that are actually working so that you get light, so that you get some form of energy, they are also suffering. Will he sacrifice his own wage? Will he say, okay, can you cut my wages in half or even 1/4? Add it to whatever you want to pay these people. Then we know you're talking, not coming here to make noise. Let me leave that side. I mean, with the famine going on in the land right now, with the food scarcity going on in our land right now, this has also been something to do with the members of Senate. This has something to do with them. Because if they are taking agriculture, if they are taking it seriously, if they are taking it as a priority, instead of buying SUVs, changing my item, planning to buy 2 private jets, renovating homes for about 40 million for vice presidents. If they are taking agriculture as a priority, the nation will not be in this food scarcity they are right now. That is where the Obidient family actually took the mantle. They took charge of, say, right now, let's face something that is of importance to our country, something that's of importance to our nation, to the people that are actually working for this money. All they do in that Senate there, I mean, it's just borrow, spend lavishly for something that's of no importance to the nation. Agriculture is the mainstay of any nation. If you feed your people, you house them, everybody will be happy. But now, Nigeria is falling short of these two essential necessities. The Obidient family, we have come as a cooperative. We have come as a cooperative to see that, yes, we can actually do this by ourselves. We can do it in the sense that we have people, well-meaning Nigerians, that want to actually promote agriculture. They want to promote selflessness. They want to promote that act of godliness to each and every well-meaning Nigerian in our country. What have we done? We have gone around to register members. I mean, register members in local governments in our country. Different local governments. Right now, as we speak, we have one local government that has actually been set. I mean, they have well over 5,000 members in this obedience movement, in this cooperative. What are these people asking for right now? They want help. They want assistance. What are they looking for? Just for the government or well-meaning Nigerians to look into their affairs, provide them with things to farm with, fertilizers, seeds. These are what they are all looking for. And these guys are ready to go into the farm and get food products out. But now, because of the kind of nation we are, I mean, these guys are still waiting and waiting and waiting. How long will they wait for? How long can we be in this dilemma? Gentlemen and ladies, wherever you are in the world, Obidient Family Cooperative are there waiting for help, so that these cooperatives can actually go into full effect, into full function. Whatever it is you have, nothing is too small, nothing is too big. All these members of Senate, all these people in different assemblies, they can actually do something about this. There's allocation for this by the government, but where is that money channeled into? Who is in charge of this money?
Gilbert Chebure.
Who is in charge of it? So, gentlemen and ladies, please, 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 we are actually for the goodness of our country. We are for the welfare of our people. We are for everything good that will make Nigeria a giant again. Let's help out. Let's help out.
All right.
You will find an account number later. You'll find the account number that you can actually pay into as the program goes on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lord K. You've said it all. And for those of you who are watching us, we are still at Family TV. And this segment, we are reaching out to well-meaning Nigerians and Obedience on Zoom who have joined us to discuss more on building a solid cooperative society, farmer and farming base where we support farmers to go. This season is the season for farming, and they need crops, they need fertilizer, they need different things and all of that. Let me quickly get to Anthony Oji. Anthony Oji is joining us from Enugu. Please unmute and tell us what you feel about the suffering of the people in Nigeria due to the scarcity, or should we say the expensive nature of food in the country that even the poor cannot afford. And now is the season of planting, and the people that are with us who are the obedience, who are really into farming, are desirous of assistance, since it's not coming from the government, neither from the federal nor from the state. But we want to reach out to all members of the general public who are well-meaning Nigerians, and of course obedience, to see how we could be able to support the people who are going to farm, so that we continue to remain active until when we finally take back our country. Anthony Oji, please do unmute and then tell us your thoughts on this. Of course, you've heard where Lord Kingsley left off.
Yeah, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a clarion call for help. the Obidient Family Cooperative Society is a new venture. It's a new idea. We've been talking about consumption, moving from consumption to production. And people have come together and now said, let us try this scheme. I think it's a good thing. I think people who are engaged in this consumption to production should be supported by all well-meaning Nigerians. No, we have a government that hardly cares about the welfare of their citizens. Most of the times, those elected officials or those in power, those in government, those with responsibilities to care for the general welfare of the population are just there helping themselves out. They are there sharing the resources. Even when allocations are made, most of that amount, most of that money is siphoned for personal enrichment. So this new idea of obedient family cooperative societies being formed across all the local governments in Nigeria, possibly, needs your support. Whether you are an obedient with the capacity to help, whether you are a local government chairman or councillor, whether you are a House of Assembly member or a senator or House of Rep member, let us put hands together and support this idea. Cross River State, Yala local government, is now proving that it's possible. With over 4,000 plus individuals that have decided to come together to do this, to farm, they need help. This is just a start. We are hoping that other local governments will copy their effort or emulate their efforts and then do the same thing in farming seasons to come. Not just this one, but next year, the year after, and the years after. This is a brand new idea. And I think well-meaning Nigerians should look at it and then support it. Thank you.
Get to Mr. Bassi, also, of course, we keep talking about Cross River State. He will be reporting, joining us from the municipal Cross River State, which is Calabar. So, Mr. Bassi, please tell us more about what is happening in Cross River State as we keep talking about Yala local government and the farmers there and the number of obedients who are engaged in this very Obidient Family Cooperative Society. Can you tell us more about the farming season, about the need for farming seedlings, about fertilizers that we need to support the cooperative so that they can, go into farming and, of course, report back to the cooperative society quickly?
Kanu, good day, obedience across the world and listeners. This is an appeal. It's a farming season at the moment, and this is the right time for us to take advantage of this season so that it doesn't slip by, because we are right in the thick of the farming season. Like you have heard, the Yala local government have organized themselves and they have come up with a request and of the things that they need to get this activated, to get this going, so that we can have abundance harvest when it is time for harvest and have enough food to feed our nation. Obidient Family Cooperative is actually established to walk the talk. You know, successive governments have come and said we are going to diversify from oil into agriculture and other this into for revenue generation, but we haven't really seen that in action apart from just on paper. But Obidient Family Cooperative is actually out to walk the talk. And I like to appeal to all our elected representatives across the nation to lend their support to Obidient Family Cooperative, because this is a cooperative that will make Nigeria food sufficient, so that we won't have to go through what we are going through at the moment. Let us lend our support to Obidient Family Cooperative, using Yala as a case study. Please let us give this support. They need fertilizers, they need seedlings, they need all manner of support to ensure that they get this going. And every other local government are also taking a cue from what the Yala is doing. They are organizing. They are also coming up with their own initiative. So I want to appeal to every Nigerian, every spirited Nigerian, wherever you are, most especially our elected representatives. This is the time for you to show that you truly want to serve the people. Because I would also like to say here, please, enough of handout. Giving people handout is not solving our problem. But this is the right way to put your money where your mouth is, so that at the end of the day, we will have a more productive environment, communities, a more productive economy. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And let's quickly take what our own elder statesman Obode has to tell us about this. Elder Obode, of course, you've heard what our other obedience on Zoom has talked about. Can you lend your voice to this, especially as we see that not just Yala local government, but we have seen that there is, imagine we have over 70 local governments legitimately registered with their state governments. But of course, we see so much attention to Yala, because Yala already currently have close on 5,000 members who are mostly farmers, who had actually brought out a request for support, basically not to give them money, but to procure money to, of course, to procure the fertilizers, to get the seedlings and all the things that we see on the screen right now. We'll be displaying bank accounts where we want any well-meaning Nigerian and obedient, or just anybody who feels that God has blessed them and they want to bless farmers who are bringing in food to the table of every family, who is making it possible for this very starvation, who is making it possible that this hopelessness we are in, that we need to survive it. So at this very time, we call on both the executive of churches across the nation. We know that their places of worship is in every 1 kilometer across Nigeria. When you move from pole to pole, you see churches. We want you people to deliberate on this. Nigerians are starving and it's time for famine. And what we need are just the things. We need seedlings / grains, which is corn, rice, yam for farming. And then we're looking at fertilizers. Of course, you might say, what are the government there for? But what are they been doing? Of course, we can tell you so much about the budget, agricultural budget we have in Nigeria. How does that translate to the people who are actually farming, as we know exist in the rural area, not at the urban areas? So as much as we can go on and we keep bringing this every day. So Elder Bode, while you talk about this, we will be displaying what the Yala local government, what they have been doing, the outreach. Of course, I know that Mary Okon, Mrs. Mary Okon, who happens to be the president, is here, but I want her to say that at last, and we don't really have time. But Elder Bode, please lend your voice to this. Call on the people who are out there who can help to come out and help the need of Nigerians who wish to farm. Not just Ayala, but all the other local governments. Thank you.
And you are welcome to Obidient Family Television. Well, normally, a government is supposed to have a budget for agriculture, but in Nigeria, it's much more different. We are in a different country altogether. Like in the UK here, the government has a budget, for agriculture, whereas the farmers, they get so much money for whatever they're doing. But we are now embracing a new concept, which means we want farmers, to belong to obedient multipurpose cooperative societies, so that they can work between themselves or within the cooperative to produce agricultural goods, which would make Nigeria a better place. This situation where you have yam, maybe a 1 kilogram yam costing about 2,000 naira, would not happen if we have a production of yam, Nigeria-wise. But then before we can do this, we need all good and well-meaning Nigerians to come to our aid, because we really need all these items: seedlings, fertilizer, corn, you name it, rice, wheat, for this farming season. We'll be very grateful if you contribute to this well-meaning and very novel situation where we can now start feeding Nigeria. On the other hand, I have to call on the government. There is a Nigerian, he's called himself a Lebanese Nigerian, called Shaguri, and he got the contract for this Lagos to Calabar road, which we don't need. So I don't know, apparently he worked with Abacha at some point. So these are people who are actually hamstringing Nigeria. Apparently he supplied the aircrafts, to take Tinubu to South Africa. And apparently he is taking charge of supplying the 2 aircrafts, Tinubu and his gang, they want to purchase for the president and the vice president. If we can stop such people from, messing up our system, then we'll have a better environment. But all the same, we want to, first of all, concentrate on this Obidient Family multipurpose cooperative society, because it's the new thing in town. Please help us, raise money. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Statesman, for that. Looking at our time has really gone, and of course, tomorrow is another day coming up again, and we'll be coming out to have discussions with the president of the Yala local government, which is Mrs. Mary Okon, who will be addressing on the outreach that they have gone, because I know, of course, she has updates. But we keep talking to people. We expect your calls in. We expect that the account number that we've been displaying across all our various videos, and of course, the one that is on your screen. If you found that the Obedients who have been neglected, who have been bombarded, who have been chased across different platforms and places and localities, who are still subject of persecution across Nigeria, they are. We've asked them to engage themselves into a cooperative society wherein they can do business of mutual benefit. And right now is the farming season, and they require seedlings, they require fertilizer, they require different things to be able to go back to their farms and farm. So we have decided to see how we could be able to call on women in Nigeria to support this very project, so that we could be able to get fertilizers and seedlings to different cooperatives. But we keep mentioning Yala local government, because that is a local government that has mobilized over 5,000 members, whom are mostly farmers. And their president, Mrs. Mary Okon, has always been coming to tell us what is going on. I've been showing us evidence through video, through pictures of the outreach that they have been doing and the meetings that they have been holding. And they deserve our help. They deserve for us to support their business initiative. And I know that some people have started coming, and even as we are speaking, I know that some people have said how many fertilizers is needed. I can see some people who are also saying how many bags, or what's the cost of corn, what is the cost of yam. I see all of that, and I see your input. You are seeing in the screen the cost of these fertilizers that you're asking about. Please, wherever you are, support. You can see it, and it doesn't mean that you must get 100 bags. It doesn't mean that you must get 50 bags. It can be 5, it can be 2, it can be 3. Whatever support that we can get from you is required. And of course, you will see how these things translate, because we are going to meet with these people at their local government and give them all of these things in a transparent way on a live direct TV, and broadcast it live, where we see that most of these farmers have these items. Until tomorrow, when we come to hear from the president of this Yala local government cooperative society. Until tomorrow, we'll meet again. Bye for now.
Gloat. But this morning I'm going to gloat triumphantly. It don't cast. I talk him. And please, you can go and refer to our interview with the then head of information, the Minister of Information then, Dr. Pantami, where we had a back and forth.
No, it was Minister of Communication.
Minister of Communication, where we had a back and forth on the integrity of our data. And I was asking him about where the data were stored, were they stored in situ, in country, in cloud, what are the platform, and he said that they were properly stored. I knew they were not properly stored, and I've been vindicated on this. Go to the website, said you can get anything you want at any price.
100 naira.
It's at any price, even cheaper than that. So what it means is that the data bank by NIMC has been compromised. So what we are dealing with is a high-scale data compromise in this country as we speak.
Sounds severe if you can get a minister's NIN for less than you can get by
Gala.
It's cheaper than Gala.
It's cheaper than Gala. So it's a grand-scale data compromise.
Gala.
And you know what it does? You know what it does?
Happened to the meat inside.
You know what it does?
What?
It questions the use, one, of that data set. Number two, it also questions the details of people. It also predisposes to a lot of data fraud and crimes. Mm-hmm. It also predisposes to a lot of identity thefts. So, two things NIMC should do. Can they have a data inquest into what has happened? A honest inquest, not this one they are doing, they are not ready. Secondly, can they now go through all of that data sets and put about storage? Thirdly, the ones they've already released, can they do what I call damage limitation on them? because most of these things are already in public glare, and you do not know the capacity of storage those that have access to this data have put it in. I mean, if you buy a cloud space on Azure or AWS, you can just load it up there. But Nigeria data system has effectively been compromised. That's what it means.